Look at that. A treat for the holidays. It's so easy to make. Hello, thank you for joining me again. Today I'm going to make some Snickerdoodles. This is a part of my Christmas special that I'm doing. This is, basically what I'm doing is an everyday video up to and through the holiday. And it's all about Christmas time and about the things that we make and enjoy from the kitchen, and just kind of sharing my time in the kitchen with you and inviting you to come on in and join with me. So today I'm going to be making some Snickerdoodles. They're really cool. A Snickerdoodle is a type of cookie. It's a simple cinnamon and sugar cookie. All right, as basic as that. And it is as simple as basic cookie doughs get for the most part. I have a group of ingredients here, minus some eggs that I need to pull out. And I'm going to get busy making Snickerdoodles. These are easy, they're fun, and I think you should give it a try. So, tell you what, come on over. Let's look at some of the ingredients I'm going to be using. We'll talk about a couple of them and why certain things are the way they are. Okay? Why we use certain things in making certain cookies. All right, so it's really cool. Everything's already out, like I said, except for the eggs. So come on over and let's get started. The ingredients I'm going to use for this are all pretty basic. Got some eggs here. We're going to be using some flour. I have in this bowl right over here, whoop, let me make some noise with it, some butter. Okay, I've got baking soda, cream of tartar, salt, sugar, vanilla, and cinnamon. All right, simple enough. There we go. Something I want to mention. You might be wondering, hey, no baking powder. What's the deal? Sometimes, especially in older recipes, you will see a combination of baking powder and something else. Sometimes it's not needed, like in a chocolate cake, all you need is just the baking powder, okay? It acts as the leavening once it mixes with the acidic side of the cocoa. But when there isn't enough acid in a recipe, and this recipe really has no acid in it, you have to do something to cause your sodium bicarbonate to turn into gas, okay? You're wanting to produce a gas with it so the cookies come out with the right texture. So we add something that is acidic, and that's cream of tartar. Cream of tartar actually comes from wine making. It is a chemical that forms on top of the wine and that's left over after the wine making process. And so they take that acid from the wine making and just refine it into a powder, and we call that cream of tartar. All right, and that's all that is. So I'm going to get on with this. I'm going to start with the flour, and what I do is I combine everything into a sifter that's a dry ingredient, and I sift all of my dry ingredients together. So like the baking powder, the cream of tartar, the salt, all of that gets sifted all at once, okay, with the flour. And then the sugar I do separately, I cream that into the butter. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. All right, so let's work this recipe. We'll start with my flour here. Now this takes 2 3/4 cups of flour. So what I'm going to do is just scoop out a little of my flour. Now when I do my flour, I'll use something to scrape it off with, okay? And I'll scrape across the top. After I do that, after I've leveled it, then I tap it one time on the edge. If there's any air voids in there, the flour will fall, and you'll immediately know there's an air void there. There isn't, okay? So that's good. And it happens, folks. It happens. Sometimes you get a big old air pocket in your flour, and you end up with a texture of a cookie that's a little different than it should be. So that gives us a total of 2 3/4 cups of the flour. Now on these right here, my leavening and my salt, we're going to start with the cream of tartar. That's 2 teaspoons cream of tartar, 1 teaspoon of the baking powder, baking soda, not baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, pretty easy, right? One teaspoon. So that's easy enough. I just sift this out. And we're on to the next step. So the flour is ready. I need to measure my sugar. That is 1.5 cups of sugar. And so you'll know on the butter, I used 1 cup of butter. Well, it looks like all of the ingredients except for one are all measured out. The one that isn't is the vanilla, and I'm going to measure it directly into the bowl when I do that. So what I have is my butter in here, my flour with the leavening, and that would be, of course, you know, your baking soda and cream of tartar, and also the salt right here all mixed together. Got my sugar here, and in this bowl I have some sugar and cinnamon, and that's 2 tablespoons of each. I want to mix those together, and that's what I roll the balls in after I ball up the dough. Okay, so we make the dough first. It starts with creaming. We start with creaming the butter, and I like to use a paddle when I'm doing cookies. All right, there we go. I'll tell you what, before I turn this on, look down in here and you can watch how it starts and what goes on. Okay, so here's how this goes. We start with the butter, creaming it and fluffing it up. It'll change color from the yellow color to almost white, and it'll double in bulk. We're going to cream in the sugar, allowing the two to become well combined, and then we're going to cream in one at a time our eggs. After that, I'll put in the vanilla, and that's when we have all of our wet components finished. Okay, even though sugar's not a wet component, it dissolves as such. So that will be simple enough right there. Once we get that done, we start working in the flour, and I do that a half a cup at a time. Usually, I'll use a little scoop for that. Let's start this. Here we go. Now I want to beat the butter fast enough that it creams it, but it doesn't rise up on the bowl too fast, and too high of a speed will cause that. This is a good speed for creaming right here. Oh, we're going to have some fun with this. Let me grab a timer. Start. It'll count up. Alrighty. Our timer is just now turning over 5 minutes right there. And so with that happening, if you look right here, it is, like I said, it would be a lighter color that we would double in bulk. Okay, so that was 2 sticks of butter. Now look how much I've got now. So I've just whipped a bunch of air into it. That's all that's really happened there. There's no more butter than was there to begin with. Creaming is a process that does a couple of things, and it may seem unnecessary. So let me kind of explain what really goes on here that causes this to be necessary. Whenever you're baking, you want your cookie or your cake or whatever it is you're cooking to kind of rise up a little bit and to create little air pockets in it. Sometimes it'll fall back down some, but it'll still have certain characteristics and qualities that came from this very process. So this is an absolute necessity. Whenever you're baking, go ahead, beat your butter, beat your fats. It does not hurt them, all right? Just give them heck. Now, we're going to turn this back on. So we're 6 minutes in now. I'm kind of showing how easy this is. We're working a little sugar. You'll hear some grinding noises. It doesn't hurt a thing. So if you notice, I don't just pour all of it in all at once. And I don't use a high speed when I do this. I allow the sugar to just kind of drop down in there gently. Now, once I get all of the sugar in, I'm going to cream it again with the sugar. So it just turned 7 minutes. We're going to keep counting. All right, now we are coming up on that 10-minute mark. So it's been about another 3 minutes on creaming this. So I'm going to turn this off, and there's one thing I'm going to do. before I go into doing my eggs, this is something you should always do. Just break loose whatever you have in that bowl, okay? There'll be some of the butter against the edge that maybe didn't quite get creamed in. And that's all you're making sure of. So, as you can see, there is a huge change in the quantity of what we have here. Also the quality. It's changed color. There's a lot of it. I want to do this for just a moment, just to get whatever wasn't fully creamed in mixed down. Now we're going to start with one egg at a time. There we go. Just let it take that in. Back down again, the other egg. Okay. This is where we can go ahead and add our vanilla. And if you want to add a little extra vanilla to yours, you can. If you'll notice, mine sloshed over a little bit, so maybe that was a 1 1/4 teaspoon. You know, make it yours. All right, we take a look. We're at 1348. And I have a really nice cookie batter started here. All right. Now, so I say batter because it ain't a dough yet. It's really liquidy, kind of soft and wet. And what we're going to do now is work in the flour. And that's where we make our dough. Here we go. Let's get that in there. So again, if you notice, I do this on slow speed. And I do not dump it all in at once. If you put all of the flour into one of these machines all at once, they kick a lot of it right back out at you. Okay, so be respectful of your mixer. I'm going to give it another spin with the paddle, and then our cookie dough is, well, pretty much made. Isn't that neat? All right, 16:29, 16:30, okay, 16.5 minutes, even with me taking breaks to tell y'all about what to do. So you can see this isn't gonna take you long. Okay, I'm gonna get this beater out of here and we'll move on. All right, now that we have our cookie dough ready to go, you need something to get a little bit of out. You can just reach in with your hands, pull some out, roll it into a ball, and drop it right down into your sugar and your sugar and cinnamon mixture. Well, also, if you want it to be very even in their construct or in their size, you could elicit the help of something like this that helps you to kind of even out the amount you're using. It also gives you that shape to begin with. Gently roll in the cinnamon sugar. That's all you have to do, and take it and set it right there on your cookie sheet. Now you don't want these too close together, because what they're going to do is they're going to melt, and as they melt, they will end up, there we go, they'll end up flattening out. So they kind of dome, and then they just slowly melt down in the oven. It's really kind of cool to watch. So if you have young ones, that's some great entertainment for them. All right. Okay, just that simple. Now, these cook fast, all right? I'm at about roughly 2,000 feet. These will be cooking at 400 degrees, and it should take them roughly 6 minutes. Doesn't take long at all for a Snickerdoodle to cook. So what I do is I go ahead and line out multiple sheet pans this exact same way, and they're ready to go right into the oven, and I cook them only one rack at a time. That way I get very even cooking when I'm doing this. Now, the other day when I did my chocolate chip cookies, I did 2 racks. The lower rack had lighter colored cookies and the upper rack are darker ones. And that's perfect for me because we like 2 different kinds of cookies around here. One that's a little more well done and one that's a little less done. All right, my oven has beeped. It's preheated. I have all of my balls made, rolled in cinnamon sugar, ready to go. Normally this makes about 60. I got 58 out of this one. So, you know, sometimes that happens. Don't sweat it. And that was just, my balls came out slightly bigger this time, that's all. Okay, folks, if you would, make sure you have cooling racks already sitting out and ready. These take 6 minutes in the oven, and when we're talking 6 minutes, they come out really fast like that, and you don't want to be messing around or wasting time. Now, if I have a partial sheet, I'll usually do that first, so if something goes wrong, I didn't mess up a whole sheet, right? All right, now, the timer right now says 37 minutes. That's how long it's taken to this point. It's a 6-minute bake. I've set the timer for that. We'll pull it out of the oven in a moment, okay? The rest of these are ready to hit just as soon as that one comes out. I'll also need something for hot pans. Okay, my timer should go off here in just a moment. I'll be pulling those out of the oven and getting the, there it is, the next one in. Okay, so here's the dance. Right there. That's what they should look like. Lightly browned, little cracks on top are just perfect. That's what a Snickerdoodle should look like. Now I've got to get it off of that pan. Oops, look at this started. As it cooks so fast, I don't want to miss getting my timer set. All right. This. Just gently remove these and straight onto a cooling rack, okay? Oops. That one got abused. Just a little. All right. So there we go. As soon as those are cooled, they are ready to enjoy. And if you want to enjoy them warm, that's okay, but let them cool enough so they don't burn you, and certainly don't let them burn the little ones, okay? Now, that's it, Snickerdoodles. We're gonna taste those in just a minute. Well, here we go. They're all cooked up, they're out of the oven. Folks, those are delicious looking Snickerdoodles. I'm about to dig in and enjoy one. They're tasty. They're all out of the oven. They're all cooked up, and there's this one that I kind of smushed on the way out of the pan. Tiny bit of crunch on the outside. Soft and delicious on the inside. That's a good cookie. Thank you very much. Hey folks, have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining me on this little Christmas treat. Please enjoy it. Please comment down below. Click a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Share this video. That helps me a lot. And folks, enjoy those Snickerdoodles. They're awful good. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.